Live from the betting capital of the world. Giving raw and real breakdowns of mixed martial arts and recapping UFC events like no one else with producer Martin on the ones and twos and combat sports betting expert Effie. You're listening to Any Action Sportscast. Any Action Sportscast. So put your headphones on and let's take this podcast to the next level.
This isn't a podcast. It's a sportscast.
What's up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie with Any Action Sportscast, here to go over UFC 294. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. This card has gotten a ton of shakeups. This was supposed to be Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira for the 155 title, but he got injured. In steps Alexander Volkanovski on 10 days short notice to fight for the belt against Islam Makhachev up a weight class to try to become a champ in the UFC. And in the co-main event, Khamzat Chimaev was supposed to fight Paulo Costa, and Paulo Costa actually had to get pulled from the card as well. And in steps one of the best welterweights of all time, Kamaru Usman, former champion, also going up a weight class, also on 10 days notice. Dude, this card is insane. That co-main and main event are going to be crazy, but the rest of the card as well is filled with really good fighters, man. A lot of high-level fighters, man. We have Magomedov versus Johnny Walker. That's going to be an insane card. We have Said Nurmagomedov on the card. We have Sharapov making his debut. That dude has a crazy name, crazy eye too. It's actually the first fight we'll talk about here. So without any further ado, let's get right into the fights on what should be a great card. In the very first fight, we have a men's middleweight fight between Bruno Blindado Silva and Sharabutdin Magomedov. This man is making his UFC debut. Magomedov, the Bullet, comes in as the favorite, coming in at minus 250 on the money line. His record is 11-0. He's undefeated out of Russia. Man, this dude's crazy. He's 6'2", 29 years old, fighting Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva coming in with a 23-9 record, coming in at plus 165 on the money line. 34 years old, 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. On the screen right there, it says plus 165. But so much money's been coming in on Magomedov now that Bruno Silva's money line is around plus 200. And I gotta agree with that line movement, man. I'm going with Magomedov to win this fight. I'm actually gonna go with him to get a finish in this fight, but it's weird. Bruno Silva is someone that, you know, has fought people like Alex Pereira. He took a ton of shots from, you know, the former champ Alex Pereira. I'm going to be fighting here for another belt soon. One of the most powerful guys in the entire UFC, and it was kind of shocking that Alex couldn't finish him. He goes in there and gets rocked and dropped by Gerald Meerschaert the very next fight. So it makes you wonder, like, is his chin gone? Has it been turned to dust? Did he take too much damage against Pereira? Because someone like Gerald Meerschaert, who is a jiu-jitsu practitioner, was landing quite easily on Silva and making him, you know, react really badly to his shots. Then he also got hurt really bad and submitted by Brendan Allen in his last fight. So, you know, it hasn't been looking good for Bruno Silva. He's getting up there in age, 34 years old. He is fighting Sharabutdin Magomedov, who's making his UFC debut. And, man, this dude is a very good striker. I know you see he's Magomedov and he's from Russia, so you probably think he's a wrestler. But he's actually a striker. This dude is a very good kickboxer. Really good kicker in general. He really likes his kicks. He really likes his side kicks and his kicks to the legs. He can mix it up, legs, body, head. What he really does is he likes to go to the body a lot, gets the guy's hands to drop down. He'll mix in a headshot and really do some damage there. So as far as his wrestling, I haven't really seen him wrestle at all. So who knows? Maybe he can get out-grappled by Silva, but I doubt it, dude. This guy's from Russia. His last name is Magomedov, and this dude has one eyeball. Look at this picture, man. It's absolutely wild. But a little bit long on the first video or prediction here, but I am going to go with a better striker here. I think Magomedov is going to be able to land on Silva and make it look good, and maybe even put him out, man. Silva, like I said, 34 years old, and I have my worries about his chin. So give me Magomedov to win this fight. I'm going to go with a second-round knockout. Up next, we have a women's strawweight fight between Jinh Frey and Victoria Dudakova. Jinh Frey comes in on a 3-fight losing streak with an 11-9 record. She's 38 years old, 5'3", with a 65-inch reach. She's taking on the young up-and-comer Victoria Dudakova, undefeated prospect, 7-0. Sitting as a minus 500 favorite. This line right here on the screen says 375, but so much money has been pouring in on Victoria that her money line has gotten pushed to minus 500. Just crazy. She's fighting out of Russia. She is 24 years old, 5'5", with a 67-inch reach. So, man, to be a minus 500 favorite in women's MMA when you only have one UFC fight in your career, and it came off a freak injury. So the way Victoria fights, she's a very good grappler, man. She is very good with her takedowns, very good with her ground and pound and submissions, and she has very good top control. She's a beast, man. I'll be honest, I really like what I see from her. Her level of competition isn't the best, on the regional scene, but that's pretty common, for women's MMA and really UFC debutantes kind of in general, even though she already has a UFC fight. But her last fight, man, that was one of the worst injuries I've seen in a while. Estela Nunes goes, to defend a takedown. She posts with one arm and gets it snapped. So we didn't really get to see Victoria's, full skill set or any skill set really in that fight. But she's fighting Jinh Frey, and this is fade city, man. This is total fade on Jinh Frey. I'm not really giving Jinh Frey a chance in this fight. Someone that gets out grappled and loses to Kay Hansen, it's not going to go good against Victoria Dudakova, because Victoria Dudakova is a way better grappler than Kay Hansen. She's on a 3-5 losing streak where she hasn't looked good at all. We actually bet against her when we bet on Polyana Vienna, and she ended up getting knocked out. And she's 38 years old, man. She's not getting any better. Her best days are behind her. I just don't think that she's going to be able to withstand the grappling from Victoria Dudakova. And for Victoria Dudakova to eventually find a finish on the mat, whether it be ground and pound finish or Jinh Frey somehow or another giving up her back, trying to get up and getting a rear naked choke. So I think Dudakova does find a finish in this fight. Everyone's parlaying her, man. It's kind of crazy. Minus 500 at this point in the week. I don't know if you're getting much value adding on to your parlay there. But it's before I go method of victory, take a gamble, knockout, or finish, because I do think that once she gets it on the mat, she's going to dominate. Give me Victoria Dudakova. I'm actually going to go with a first-round submission. I think she gets the neck in that first round. So give me Victoria Dudakova, first round, rear naked choke. Up next, we have a banger of a fight. This is going to be a very exciting fight. We have a men's featherweight fight between Nathaniel Wood and Mohammad Naimov. Mohammad Naimov comes in as the underdog. He is 9-2, coming in at plus 250 on the money line. He is 29 years old, 5'9", with a 70-inch reach. He's taking on Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood comes in with a 19-5 record, sitting as a minus 310 favorite. He is 30 years old, 5'6", the 69-inch reach. So right there, he's going to be 3 inches shorter. I have a 1-inch reach disadvantage to Mohammad Naimov. And dang, dude, at minus 310, that's a little bit wide in my opinion. But I got to go with Nathaniel Wood, man. I'm pretty confident in this pick, or in this line, I guess you could say. I'm pretty confident he gets the win here. So I'm really high on Nathaniel Wood's skill set. He's very well-rounded, very good kicker, very good striker, very fast on the feet, but also a very good grappler, very good ability to take people down, be able to close distance and duck under a lot of his opponent's strikes. So this is actually going to be his 4th fight in this new weight class. He was fighting at bantamweight at 135 for the longest time. And that weight cut was just having, too much of a toll on him. So finally he goes up in weight. And he's been 3-0 as a featherweight now. He beat Charles Bosa, beat Charles Jourdain, and beat Andre Fili. All those guys are pretty good fighters, man. They're no slouches at all. He did get hurt in his last fight, but he showed he had a good chin and good heart and came back and also hurt Fili as well. He's a good grappler, and that's what won him in that fight. He's very good leg kicks, like I said. Some pretty good defense, man. He's pretty fast. And he's a young up-and-comer. He's 30 years old, getting up there in age. He's probably not a prospect anymore, but I like Nathaniel Wood. He's fighting Mohammad Naimov, who I actually seen fight in the regional scene in Vegas for Tough Enough. And I don't think he's as quick as Nathaniel Wood, and I think that's what's going to lose him this fight. I think the speed advantage for Nathaniel Wood is pretty significant in this fight. I think that he probably does likely finish Mohammad Naimov, because Mohammad Naimov is going to be having to take down Nathaniel Wood right away. If he has extended minutes on the feet, I think Nathaniel Wood is going to just piece him apart to a decision, or maybe even catch him and finish him. I know that Mohammad Naimov got that upset win over Jamie Malarkey, which was surprising. I was, kind of shocked to see Jamie go out like that. But, man, that was just a clean shot, man. Definitely props to him for that. But when I saw him fight in Vegas, he didn't really strike me as like that overall good of a fighter. I was like, okay, yeah, good win and everything. Didn't really think much of him. And then sure enough, he's in the UFC now. So I'm going with Nathaniel Wood here. I think his speed advantage is significant. Like I said, I think he has the quicker hands here. I think he lands more, and he might be able to catch that chin of Mohammad Naimov. He's going to be able to sprawl and brawl and really piece apart Mohammad Naimov. So give me Nathaniel Wood to continue to look good at featherweight, go 4-0 in this new weight class, and to win via, I'm going to go third round finish. Nathaniel Wood. Knockout. Up next, we have a lightweight fight between Anshul, Jubli, and Mike Breeden. Jubli comes in with an undefeated record, 7-0, currently sitting as a minus 400 favorite. He is 28 years old, 6 foot tall with a 69-inch reach. Mike Breeden comes in with a 10-6 record, riding a 3-fight losing streak, and he finds himself as a plus 310 underdog. He is 34 years old, 5'10", with a 70-inch reach. Now, this honestly should be Jubli's coming out party in the UFC. I'm kind of surprised they put him this low on the card. But this dude has got the goods, in my opinion. I'm really high on Jubli, man. Very well rounded. On the feet, he's very patient. Doesn't have that crazy of output, but doesn't really put himself in bad spots either. Very good footwork, very good lateral movement. Can fight out of both stances, southpaw and orthodox. But what I like about him is that he has very good ground and pound. When he does get his opportunities to get his top control, he can really lay down some damage with those elbows, which is ground and pound in general. And he's from India. It's kind of cool. He's the only fighter out of India in the UFC, so I'm pretty sure the UFC is trying to, tap into that market and feed him a winnable fight, a fight where he can get a highlight reel finish. And I think that's exactly what Mike Breeden's going to do. Mike Breeden comes in, man. He's 34 years old, and he just got finished not too long ago. He fought Terrence McKinney, a little less than 2 months ago, and he took a lot of damage, man. Terrence McKinney, I mean, the way he fights, he just finishes everybody in the first round, or he doesn't finish you at all. But he got slept by Terrence McKinney, and then the Tom Levy fight, he was getting hit quite a bit. He is very hittable, and he doesn't have that very good of takedown defense, in my opinion. I think that Jubli can really, get his game going wherever he wants in this fight, whether it be a 15-minute striking affair with Breeden, or if he wants to utilize that grappling and get a ground pound finish. I think that Jubli is going to look good in this fight. I tend to think that he will use that grappling in this fight. I think that he gets him down and finishes him there. So for as far as my method of victory here, I am going to go with Jubli to find that finish in that very first round. I think he finishes him either late in that first round or early second via ground pound finish. Up next in the middleweight division, we have a banger of a fight between Sedriques, Dumas, and Abu Azaitar. Dumas comes in with an 8-1 record, currently sitting as a minus 170 favorite. He is 28 years old, 6'2", with a 79-inch reach. He's fighting Abu Azaitar, who comes in with a 14-3-1 record, currently sitting as a plus 145 underdog, and is 37 years old, 5'9", with a 76-inch reach. Man, this is kind of an interesting fight for multiple reasons, man. I think that Dumas is a better fighter here with a better skill set, better frame, and just better physical attributes than Abu. But man, Abu's not done himself any favors. This dude never fights, man. He has one fight in the last 2.5 years. He has 2 fights in the last 5 years. I mean, this dude just does not fight. Activity to me is a very important attribute in the UFC. You have to be active. Someone coming off the couch, which we'll talk about later in the main events, co-main, but someone just that hasn't fought in forever, it's a big red flag, man. I'm always looking to fade people like that, and it just sucks though, because Sedriques Dumas is not someone that at minus 170, you want to lay big money on. On Sedriques Dumas being minus 170, I want him to just go in there and pretty much crush his opponent, because to pay juice on a guy who, in my opinion, has shown low fight IQ, it's tough though. So Sedriques Dumas is a very good finisher, right? He finishes a lot of his fights. He's very tall and long, very wiry, you could say. He came and lost against Josh Friend, where he definitely dropped the ball and didn't look good at all. He got finished in that fight, then came back and won against Cody Brundage, where Cody Brundage just jumped guillotine like 5 times. It's kind of crazy seeing Cody Brundage's game plan against Dumas, but Dumas just took it, didn't get submitted, got up on top, and rode him out for the whole all 3 rounds, really. And he's fighting Abu, like I said, 37 years old, never active. He's just a striker with good power, man. I think that Abu Azaitar doesn't have that good a gas tank. I think he's going to look good for maybe 2 minutes in this fight and then fade. And it's kind of crazy. If you guys have ever seen the show Breaking Bad, he looks like the cartel hitman. He looks like one of the cartel hitmen, him and his brother. He has a twin brother in that show. He could definitely be him. And then Sedriques Dumas reminds me of Kodak Black. So I just thought that was funny. Give me Sedriques Dumas to win this fight. I'm actually going to go with a very first round knockout. I think he's been done in the first round. I think Abu is just going to look too old, has a lot of rust on him. His striking defense isn't good to begin with, and he never fights. So give me Sedriques Dumas to win this fight via knockout. I know he doesn't really knock out a lot of people. He doesn't really have knockouts at this high level of his fights, but give me Sedriques Dumas knockout first round. Up next, we have a bantamweight fight between Javid, the Snow Leopard Basharat, and Victor the La Mangosta Henry. Javid Basharat comes in with an unblemished 14-0 record, currently sitting as a massive minus 425 favorite. He is 28 years old, 5'9", with a 69-inch reach. He's fighting Victor Henry, who comes in with a 23-6 record, currently sitting as a massive plus 325 underdog. He is 36 years old, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. So yeah, man, this is gonna be a good fight. I'm kind of surprised at how wide that money line is. I expected Javid Basharat to be around -250, -275, but to see him around almost -500, man, that's way too wide for me. It's been happening more and more recently where I'm just priced out, man. I get it. I'm picking Javid Basharat. I think he's gonna win this fight. But at -425, I can't bet it. Maybe parlay it, but bro, at -425, you're not adding a lot to your parlay. And this fight can be close. I'm gonna make a case for Victor Henry, who I do think is gonna lose this fight. Victor Henry, you know, a ton of experience, man. Almost 30 professional fights. He had a ton of UFC or professional experience before he came to the UFC, and he won his UFC debut via a huge upset, man. We actually lost money against him when we bet on Ronnie Barcelos, a very well-rounded Brazilian wrestler with powerful hands, and Victor Henry threw a ton of volume on him and looked good doing it, man. He comes back the very next fight and loses to Rafael Assunção, where we bet on Henry, so this dude's actually burned us twice. We bet against him, burned us, bet on him, and then he burned us there too. So we avoided, didn't touch his last fight where he won against Tony Gravely. And so yeah, man, it's a weird UFC career he's had, but he shows a very good skill set, man. Very good output, a little wild in my opinion. Good footwork, good lateral footwork, slick hands, very awkward with this shell, with this guard. But dude, Javid Basharat and the Basharat brothers, who he has a brother also in the UFC. Javid and his brother, man, are beasts. These guys are savages, very technical, very clean. They don't put themselves in bad spots. They don't overextend at all. And Javid, in my opinion, is going to be okay being a counter striker in this fight. I think that he can clip Victor Henry at any moment in this fight due to how good and clean Javid's counter strikes are. He's okay being off the back foot, and if he wants to use his offensive grappling, I think he can here too. I think he could take down the striker and Victor Henry here if he wants to. And on the feet, I just think that he's going to be the more technical and cleaner striker with more variety in his strikes. So give me Javid Basharat. And I actually think this is going to go to decision. So like I said, I'm -425. If I bet on a guy that's -4-1, you know, 4-1 favorite, I want him to finish the person. So I actually think that it's going to go to decision. So I don't think that I can bet on Javid Basharat here. But I think that he wins. I think that he wins a decision here and looks good doing it. Tough fight for Victor Henry. You know, gotta go Abu Dhabi to fight Javid Basharat. Gonna be a tough matchup for sure, but it should be a good fight, high-level fight. Give me Javid Basharat via decision. Up next, we have a lightweight fight between Mohammad, Yahya, and Trevor Peek. Mohammad Yahya, the UAE Warriors champ, is making his UFC debut, coming in with a 12-3 record. He is currently a +113 underdog. He is 5'9" with a 73-inch reach. He's fighting Trevor Peek, who is 8-1, coming in as a -150 favorite. He is 28 years old, 5'9", with a 70-inch reach. So this money line has been on the move. As you can see on the screen, it says 105 Yahya, -115 Trevor Peek. But money's been coming in on Peek fast, man. We got pushed all the way to -130 to -140, and now he's all the way to -150. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Trevor Peek get all the way to -170, -175 before this fight starts. And I still think that -150 is a good price on Trevor Peek. I think that's fair. I haven't got in on him yet. I think I will. I'm waiting for those props to drop because I do think that Trevor Peek is going to be able to finish Ronnie Yahya in this fight. Or not Ronnie Yahya, Mohammad Yahya. I can't stop calling this guy Ronnie Yahya. But overall, Mohammad Yahya, his skill set isn't that high level. I expected to see him be a high level grappler when I saw that he was a favorite over Trevor Peek. But I've actually seen him get taken down in his fights. In his most recent fight in the UAE Warriors, I mean, there was moments where he wasn't looking good at all. He's very vulnerable and very hittable. His guard isn't that high. He keeps his hands pretty low. He's decently quick on the feet, but Trevor Peek, in my opinion, will have a speed advantage. That travel, that jet lag, you know, obviously is something to worry about for sure on Fight Island. He has to fly all the way from Alabama to the UAE, but still, this guy Yahya is in his hometown. But man, I still think Trevor Peek is the better fighter. You know, Mohammad Yahya does have more experience, but I still rate Trevor Peek the better fighter. I think that he can keep this fight on the feet, go forward like he always does, and eventually catch Mohammad Yahya. I think that Trevor Peek is very live for a knockout. I'm going to be waiting for that prop to drop. I want to see if I can get some pretty good plus money on that because I think that's his path to victory. Give me Trevor Peek to win. Throw those hammer fists, standing hammer fists like he always does, and look cool doing it. Give me Trevor Peek to win via knockout in that second round. And up next, man, we have a banger. This should be very good. This is where the card kind of kicks off and skyrockets, really, as far as high-level fights. We have a flyweight fight between Tim Elliott and Muhammad Mokaev. Tim Elliott comes in with a 19-12-1 record, currently sitting as a massive +370 underdog. He is 36 years old, 5'7", with a 66-inch reach. He's fighting Muhammad Mokaev, undefeated prospect, 9-0, currently sitting as a massive, unbelievable -490 favorite. He is 23 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. Now listen, guys, I get it. I'm picking Muhammad Mokaev. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's a better fighter than Tim Elliott. But if you're a gambling person, if you're out there and you're trying to gamble and make money, how can you justify laying minus 490 on Muhammad Mokaev in this fight? I'm going to try to play devil's advocate, even though I just said Muhammad Mokaev is going to win. I'm just going to try to, throw caution to you guys and give you something to think about, before laying your whole mortgage on Muhammad Mokaev to finish Tim Elliott or to beat Tim Elliott, or parlaying Muhammad Mokaev, putting 20 units on him. So Muhammad Mokaev is like Kamaru Usman. He's always banged up somehow. He's always injured outside of camp. He always has something wrong with him. In his last fight where he got the submission win against Jafal Filo, bro, his leg got screwed up bad. He got knee barred so bad. It's unreal that this dude didn't tap. Some could say that he did tap earlier in the fight, but we'll talk about that some other times. But Muhammad Mokaev got his knee shredded in that fight, and that was only 6 months ago. He had to get surgery just like Rafael Fiziev did recently, and he had to get, a huge significant injury on his knee. But before that fight, he was complaining about a shoulder surgery, which is why he was a little bit inactive for a while there. So he's been dealing with a shoulder surgery and a knee surgery going into that fight. And not for nothing, that was a very close fight. He was, it was a close fight. He's one of those guys where Muhammad Mokaev is going to go into his UFC fights every single time as a massive favorite. I mean, bro, he got his back taken by Malcolm Gordon at moments in that fight, which was absolutely crazy. Charles Johnson kind of got worked the whole time by Muhammad Mokaev, and then Cody Durden got, Jorge Masvidal flying knee, like right when the fight started. So if they rematch that fight again, Cody Durden put up a way better fight in my opinion. And like I said, dude, that Malcolm Gordon fight, he got his back taken in a couple scrambles, and Jafal Filio looked good on the mat against Muhammad Mokaev at times. And if he's going in there injured against someone as experienced and as savvy on the mat as Tim Elliott, it could be close, man. Muhammad Mokaev is one of those guys where you look at the stats and he'll just have no punches thrown because he's just been grappling the whole time. Man, this dude's striking, in my opinion, is not very good in Muhammad Mokaev, but his grappling is elite. This dude's grappling is top tier. His wrestling is top tier. His control is very good. His jiu-jitsu is good. His jiu-jitsu defense is good. It's going to take a phenomenal performance from the vet here in Tim Elliott, bro. At 36 years old, 13-year age gap in this fight. How can you not pick Muhammad Mokaev? Man, it's going to be close. So I am going to go with a submission here. I think Mokaev gets a submission here over Tim Elliott at some point in this fight. I just think that there's going to be too many grappling exchanges in this fight to avoid getting submitted here for Tim Elliott. But, bro, man, that Jafal Filio fight does not give me too much confidence, especially knowing that he got injured during that fight. Now he's coming back, man. I got to wonder if he's rushing it or not, man. 6 months after a pretty big, significant knee surgery against someone that's going to be hungry in Tim Elliott, man. This dude, Tim Elliott, will do anything to win, man. We saw him against Tagir Lumbekov, where he won, and he just cheated so many times, man. He was grabbing the gloves, grabbing the fence. He was cheating like his girl cheated on him, but it was dirty, man. Give me Muhammad Mokaev to win this fight, second round submission. Next, we have a bantamweight fight between Said Nurmagomedov and Muin Gafurov. Nurmagomedov comes in with a 17-3 record, currently sitting as a massive minus 250 favorite. He is 31 years old, 5'8", with a 70-inch reach. He's fighting Gafurov, who comes in with the 18-5 record, currently sitting as a plus 200 underdog. He is 27 years old, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. Now, I am going to go with a favorite again. I don't think that the underdog is going to pull the upset in this fight. I'm going with Said Nurmagomedov to win this fight via decision. I think that he's just going to be a step ahead everywhere in this fight, whether it be the striking at range or the grappling along the fence or on the mat. I think that in the clinch, I think that he's going to be the better fighter here, the stronger fighter, be able to reverse positions on Gafurov. I think on the feet, he's going to be the more dynamic striker and with the speed advantage. I think that he has way better kicks than Gafurov, way more variety of strikes than Gafurov in this fight. And I just think that he's overall more skilled fighter in this fight than Gafurov. Gafurov hasn't really ever impressed me in his tape. He came in and lost against John Castaneda, where it was a pretty decent fight, pretty close fight going into that third round, where he kind of, I don't want to say he gasped, but his output definitely, slowed down as the fight went on, where Nurmagomedov, lost to Jonathan Martinez, but Jonathan Martinez, that loss actually might age pretty well. He's looking very good. We just saw him get the win last week and got the finish. And also, Said Nurmagomedov, he did get out-grappled quite easily by Sadyukub Kakhramonov in that fight before he got that finish. And that's kind of worrisome. Maybe Gafurov would be able to utilize his grappling here and really avoid a 15-minute striking fight with Nurmagomedov. Because at range, I think the Nurmagomedov is going to be able to pick apart Gafurov. I wouldn't be shocked to see Gafurov try to utilize that grappling. So I think that Nurmagomedov is going to be able to sprawl and brawl, keep this upright, get those underhooks, stand him up, stay at range, and pick apart Gafurov on the way to a decision. Give me Said Nurmagomedov to win a decision. And up next is a banger of a fight for as long as it lasts. We have Ikram Aliskerov taking on Warlley Alves. Aliskerov comes in with a 14-1 record, huge minus 400 favorite. He is 30 years old, 6 foot tall, with a 76-inch reach. He's fighting Warlley Alves, 14-6. Currently sitting as a plus 320 underdog. He is 32 years old, 5'11", with a 72-inch reach. He's running a 2-fight losing streak, and I am, again, going to go with the favorite here in Aliskerov. Man, this dude's pretty powerful, man. This guy's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild also because he got straight slept bad by Khamzat Chimaev. That clip in that video of him getting knocked out is insane. He gets his head like sent through the roof. But he's coming off a pretty good win against Phil Hawes, where he definitely impressed. The striking exchanges were kind of sloppy in his most recent fight, and he did catch Phil Hawes, who, in the moment, I was like, oh man, that's a good win. But then when I sat back and thought about it, I was like, dang, Phil Hawes actually kind of gets clipped by a lot of people, and he's pretty chinny, so maybe his power is getting a little overrated there. But he's shown a pretty good skill set before he got to the UFC. You know, he has that Russian Sambo style, very good grappling, and obviously he has very good hands to go out there and sleep someone like Phil Hawes very early on in their fight. Warlley Alves, man, this dude, I can't believe he's only 32 years old. I feel like he's been around forever, and I can't believe he has a win over Colby Covington. This dude's definitely, falling on hard times. I don't think that he's going to be able to either land a big shot on Aliskerov or take down and control Aliskerov in this fight. I think Aliskerov is going to be able to get ahead on points or control time to win a decision or get a finish in this fight. I actually think he's going to win a decision. I'm going with Ikram Aliskerov to win a decision. I'm not giving Alves much of a chance in this fight. He's going to have to land a big, powerful shot in those exchanges, and who knows, maybe, but I don't think so. I think Ikram is a little bit too sharp and too clean defensively wise than Alves, and I think he's just a better striker than Alves, and I think that he won't be able to, I don't think Alves is going to be able to out-grapple Aliskerov in this fight, especially for 15 minutes. So give me Ikram Aliskerov to win a decision. And now it's time for the main card, guys. This is a banger. This is where the card the main card starts, and there's going to be nothing but bangers to go the rest of the way. So we have a light heavyweight fight between Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker. Ankalaev comes in with a 18-1 record, currently sitting as a massive minus 345 favorite. He is 31 years old, 6'3", with a 75-inch reach. He is fighting Johnny Walker, who is 21-7, currently coming in as a plus 270 underdog, 31 years old, 6'6", 82-inch reach. So a big-time height and reach advantage for Johnny Walker. Walker, 3-inch reach advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage over Ankalaev. And I don't think that's going to matter. I think that Ankalaev will win a decision in this fight or get a finish. Now that I say that out loud, I think there's going to be more decisions toward the end of this card than I anticipated. But man, this is going to be a banger. So Johnny Walker's actually looked good recently, man. He's on a 3-fight winning streak where he got the winner over Anthony Smith, where he looked good the whole time. Anthony Smith was talking to him in the octagon. It was kind of weird. And he just utilized his striking, good defensive grappling, and kept it at range the whole time. His speed was on point, and Smith definitely looked old in that fight, and he just picked him apart the whole fight. Very good decision. Before that, knocked out Paul Craig, and before that, submitted Ian Kusalaba. That was another good win. Magomed Ankalaev coming off that draw against Jan Blachowicz, where, man, it's kind of hard to argue that he won that fight. I think a draw is the best case scenario for Ankalaev, in my opinion. Jan Blachowicz gets ahead early, and he gets ahead early with those leg kicks. So we saw Ankalaev get neutralized big time with those leg kicks in his last fight. And do I foresee Johnny Walker being able to do that? I don't think so. I think that Ankalaev at one point in that fight was like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to control you. I'm going to utilize my game plan. And I think that's what's going to happen here. In that Thiago Santos fight, he did get hit quite a bit. But if someone with the power of Thiago Santos wasn't able to, finish Magomed Ankalaev, I don't think that Johnny Walker will. Johnny Walker, very dangerous striker, very wiry, very explosive and kind of awkward on the feet for sure. There's a lot of different variety of strikes. But I think Magomedov is going to be able to get him down, hold him, and just pound him out and really control him. I think that this actually goes over 1.5 and 2.5 rounds. But I wouldn't be shocked, man. I think Ankalaev is so dangerous pretty much everywhere this fight takes place, really, whether it be on the mat, whether it be a ground pound finish or submission, or on the feet, where if he gets a knockout and clips Johnny Walker. We've seen Johnny Walker get slept by someone like Jamal Hill, and he was looking like those people outside the car dealerships, like those inflatable things. Johnny Walker's chin's definitely been checked before, for sure. So it is a little bit risky betting those totals, but I do think that the safe play here is Ankalaev, and I think that his method of victory here will be a decision. I think that he fights for the belt next. Now it's time for the co-main event, guys. Let's go. We have Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare, taking on Khamzat Chimaev. On 10 days' notice, Kamaru Usman accepts the call to go up a weight class to fight Khamzat Chimaev at 185. Man, it's going to be, 185. Kamaru Usman comes in on a 2-fight losing streak. 20-3 record, currently sitting as a plus 235 underdog. 36 years old, 6 foot tall with a 76-inch reach. He's fighting Khamzat Chimaev, undefeated beast, 12-0, currently sitting as a minus 290 favorite. He is 29 years old, 6'2", with a 75-inch reach. And man, what can I say about this fight? A lot of angles to go in this fight. And I'm going to start with Kamaru Usman. So, you know, it's hard because he's on such short notice, right? Going up a weight class, and he's also getting old. He is 36 years old, and he's had multiple injuries. He's had his thumb surgery, knee surgery on the other foot, ankle surgery. This dude's been injured quite a bit in his UFC career. This guy's been around for such a long time, but his skill set is so good. He actually has like sneaky power at 170. To me, the fight that really sticks out is that Gilbert Burns fight. I mean, Gilbert Burns is a common opponent between both these guys. Both these guys fought Gilbert Burns at 170. And when Gilbert Burns fought Kamaru Usman, he cracked Kamaru Usman. He rocks Kamaru Usman early, puts him on all fours. And then Kamaru Usman ends up being the one that lands way more heavier, significant shots on Gilbert Burns in that fight, drops Gilbert Burns in that fight. But they weren't like overhand, heavy shots, hooks, you know what I mean? They were just straight jabs. He was hitting Gilbert Burns quite cleanly on just normal short punches, and Gilbert was going down. Where on the other hand, Khamzat Chimaev went to war with Gilbert Burns. Those guys were throwing bombs. Khamzat hit him with everything he had, and he still couldn't put him out, Gilbert Burns. And Kamaru Usman did. So that's kind of shocking to me. But I do think that Kamaru Usman has the wrestling to really stifle Khamzat's, explosive blitz here. Khamzat Chimaev, the way he fights, unless it's Gilbert Burns, he goes out there, will throw like a head kick or overhand right and go right into a takedown. And from there, he's trying to go 0 to 100 right away. I do think that he has a pacing problem, man. This guy's pace is unsustainable 100%. Like we saw in the Gilbert Burns fight, he was breathing out of his mouth. He was dead tired. Both guys were, it was a war. But like to fight at the higher level, this will 100% be the best fighter that Khamzat Chimaev has ever fought in his career, 100%. And if he's going to go out there and just waste his energy or try to use it all in that first round, someone like Kamaru Usman, the CEO of EPO, could definitely make him pay for it. It's hard to count out Kamaru Usman, and it's hard to see him, and to not bet on him at plus 235. Someone at that level of IQ, level of experience, level of skill set. It's hard to pass at minus or plus 235, but then you add on the intangibles, the fact that he's on short notice, the fact that he's on 11 days short notice off the couch, had to fly across the world, and he's 36 years old, flying a guy in his home, or quote unquote home country, in his enemy territory. And then Khamzat Chimaev seems like this unbeatable, prospect. And at his 185, man, he's not gonna have to cut weight. I think that he's gonna be huge. I think that Khamzat Chimaev knocks out Kamaru Usman in that second round. I'm going second round knockout Khamzat Chimaev, where in that first round, I think that he will either get the takedown quickly, get stuffed, or sorry, if he doesn't get stuffed early, he will get the takedown quickly and really zap Kamaru Usman of his energy. Or if he does get stuffed, it'll turn to a striking, rock'em sock'em robot type fight where Khamzat Chimaev is the one that comes out on top. Give me Chimaev to win this fight, second round knockout. And up next, it's actually kind of crazy. That fight's a 3-round fight. Kamaru hasn't fought a 3-round fight in years. I want to see how he does with this pace. But up next, the main event, guys. We have Islam Makhachev taking on Alexander Volkanovski. Makhachev, the reigning defending champion, comes in with a 24-1 record, currently sitting as a minus 230 favorite. He's 31 years old, 5'10", with a 70.5-inch reach. He's fighting Alexander Volkanovski, who is 26-2, coming in as a plus 185 underdog, 35 years old, 5'6", with a 71.5-inch reach. And bro, this is going to be such a good fight. We have 2 of the top 5 fighters on the entire planet fighting each other, and under crazy circumstances, man. Islam Makhachev, like we all know, was supposed to fight Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira gets hurt, gets cut over his eye. In steps Alexander Volkanovski, accepts the fight on 10 days notice, flies across the world, and is about to fight him on Saturday. So props to him, but bro, part of me thinks that Islam is going to crush this dude and is going to knock him out. But another part of me is like, bro, if there's anyone that's going to beat Islam, it's going to be Alexander Volkanovski. So we obviously have to rewatch that first fight, right? And what really cost Alexander Volkanovski was a slight lapse in judgment in that 4th round. For some reason, in that 4th round, Islam goes for a takedown. He seems to be deep on it. But instead of defending, Alexander kind of looks at Khabib in his corner, in Islam's corner, and just kind of like is talking to him, crawls toward him. Sure enough, Islam climbs him, like a tree and takes the body triangle and rides him out for the whole round, really. But I think it's kind of wild, dude. Alexander Volkanovski hurts Islam Makhachev, stuns him bad, cleanly stuns him in that first round, and he also drops and hurts him in that fifth round. We know that Alexander, for a fact, can hurt Islam Makhachev, whether it's in the very first round of the fight or the fifth round of the fight, because he's already done it. And we know that he can get up and have good defensive grappling against someone like Islam Makhachev. I was kind of surprised at how little submission threats Islam Makhachev had in that fight. He had a lot of time of control. I mean, he had, 7 minutes, 10 minutes of control time in that fight, of a 25-minute fight. I mean, he was on Alex for sure, but he just never really had opportunities to get the submission. Whereas Alexander Volkanovski, I think this time will go all out to try to get that finish. I think in that fourth and fifth round, you definitely saw to see the confidence in Volkanovski, appear in that fight. He was starting to throw more. He was starting to take more risks, because I think that once he felt the strength, once he felt the grappling of Islam, got put in the body triangle, got out. Like, I'm sure his confidence was sky high. It was kind of weird to hear him say that after the fight in the locker room, he said he would have been surprised if they gave him that fight, that if he would have won, he would have been surprised. So to me, he knows he lost that fight. So that's kind of a little bit worrisome. And it's also, sucky a little bit. You can say that he's 35 years old on 10 days notice, having to fight one of the guys in the UFC with the highest IQ in the UFC across the world in Abu Dhabi in his enemy territory. There's just so much going against him. Not to mention, he had surgery recently. He had surgery on his elbow, and, on his training videos that he's posting, he has that elbow wrapped up. I mean, I don't care who you are, man. I don't know how good a training you're getting with, coming off surgery. And he's getting up there in age. So, this feels like a cop-out, because I would pick and bet Volkanovski if he had a full camp, man, at plus 185. It's just so hard to see his name next to that price. But again, I'm going with my gut. I think Alexander Volkanovski actually gets finished this time. I think Islam Makhachev wins via knockout in that third round. But man, I wouldn't be shocked to see Alexander Volkanovski also finish this fight. I think this fight doesn't go the distance. I think someone gets finished in this fight. I just think that it's going to be Volkanovski in this case. Kind of weird to watch that fight and to see Volkanovski's build. He had a little bit of a flab to him, in his midsection. Not a lot of abs going for Volkanovski, because he was going up a weight class. And now that he's on short notice, also going up a weight class, I don't expect him to look as physically built as he usually does. So I think Islam's going to look like the bigger fighter. The switch up in opponent from Charles Oliveira to Alexander Volkanovski is kind of worrisome for sure. But give me Islam Makhachev to win this fight, and still. That'll do it, guys. That'll be my entire video this week. I'm thinking about putting up a video with my bets on Thursday. It's going to be a weird week for bets, because we're going to have to parlay for sure on this card. A lot of chalky favorites, a lot of wide lines, or we're just going to have to approach it over-unders, method of victory type, prop type card, you could say. But man, I am so pumped. It's going to be an early card, so all the people on the West Coast got to wake up early to watch this, but I don't care, man. We're going to have football. We're going to have the UFC, NHL, MLB playoffs going on Saturday. It's going to be sick. I can't wait. Let's go Islam. Let's go Chimaev. And still. See you guys next week. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about my video. Good luck on your bets, and peace.